Do you know someone who has a perfect plan but never starts? Someone who knows exactly what they need to do to improve their life but stays frozen in the same patterns? The Japanese have a concept for this paralysis. It is called Chiga Jong-ai, Kiga Omoi. Literally translated, it means the spirit is heavy. But the deeper meaning goes beyond simple procrastination or laziness. It describes a state where your life energy feels weighted down, making even the simplest actions feel like moving through thick mud. Ancient Japanese culture understood something that Western psychology is only now beginning to grasp. You do not move because you decide to move. You move because your ki is light. Tell me in the comments, have you ever felt this heaviness? Not depression, not laziness, just this strange weight that makes doing what you know you should do feel impossible. Here is what the ancient Japanese masters knew that your productivity coach does not. Action does not come from willpower. It comes from energy alignment, and the science is now proving what they practiced for centuries. My name is Dr. Hannah. I am a relationship coach with 22 years of experience. I help people heal, grow, and improve their relationships. I also research Japanese self-care methods to support modern research on well-being. What I have discovered is that the Japanese approach to this problem is not about forcing yourself to move. It is about making movement feel inevitable. The Japanese martial arts masters had a saying, "Before the sword moves, the spirit must move first." They did not train their students to overcome resistance. They trained them to eliminate the conditions that created resistance in the first place. This is not about motivation. This is about mechanics. So why does Kiga Omoi happen? Why does your spirit become heavy? In traditional Japanese thinking, ki is your vital energy. It flows through your body like a river. When the river flows freely, action is effortless. When the river becomes blocked, even lifting your arm feels exhausting. The Japanese identified 3 primary blockages that create this heaviness: unfinished emotional business, misaligned values, and disconnection from purpose. Think about it this way. Imagine you are carrying a backpack. Every unresolved conversation is a rock in that backpack. Every decision you have delayed is another rock. Every value you have compromised is another rock. Eventually, the backpack becomes so heavy that even standing up feels like a monumental effort. This is Kiga Omoi. The traditional Japanese solution was not to develop stronger willpower to carry the backpack. It was to remove the rocks, one by one, systematically, with ritual and intention. They used a practice called Ching Swan Seisan. It means settling accounts, not financial accounts, emotional and spiritual accounts. Before a samurai could enter a new battle, he had to settle his accounts with the old one. He had to complete what was incomplete, acknowledge what was unacknowledged, release what needed to be released. Only then could his ki flow freely again. Only then could he move without resistance. So how do you actually apply this? How do you practice Seisan in a modern life that does not include samurai rituals and temple retreats? Week 1 is about identification. Take one piece of paper, divide it into 3 columns. Column 1 is unfinished conversations. Column 2 is delayed decisions. Column 3 is value misalignments. In column 1, write every conversation you have been avoiding, the performance review you need to give, the boundary you need to set, the truth you need to tell. Do not judge them, just list them. In column 2, write every decision you have been postponing, whether to take that job, whether to end that relationship, whether to move cities, big decisions and small decisions, all of them. In column 3, write every place where your actions do not match your stated values. You say, family is important, but you work 70 hours a week. You say health matters, but you have not exercised in months. Be ruthless. This is not about shame. This is about accuracy. This list is your backpack inventory. Most people carry 40 to 60 rocks. No wonder you cannot move. Week 2 is about completion, not all at once. One rock at a time, choose the smallest rock in column 1, the conversation that would take 5 minutes, the text message you have been avoiding, the apology you need to make. Complete it fully, with presence and intention. Then cross it off your list. Do not move to the next rock until you have felt the lightness from removing the first one. This is critical. The Japanese concept of yichi yihui, ichigo ichie, applies here. One time, one meeting. Give full attention to one completion before moving to the next. Your Western mind will want to rush through all of them. Resist this. The power is in the ritual, not the speed. By the end of week 2, you should have completed 3 to 5 items from your list. You will notice something strange. Tasks that felt impossible on Monday feel almost trivial by Friday. This is not because you got stronger. This is because your kai got lighter. Each completion releases bandwidth. Each bandwidth release makes the next action easier. Week 3 is about decision closure. Choose one decision from column 2. Make it. Not the perfect choice, just a choice. Research from Stanford University in 2023 found that the average person spends 67% more mental energy holding a decision open than they would spend recovering from a wrong decision. The cost of indecision is higher than the cost of error. Set a timer for 20 minutes. Write down the best argument for yes. Write down the best argument for no. Then flip a coin. Seriously, the moment the coin is in the air, you will know which side you are hoping it lands on. That is your answer. Your body already knows. Your mind is just afraid to admit it. Make the decision. Take one irreversible action that commits you to that path. Buy the ticket, send the resignation, schedule the appointment, whatever makes the decision real. Then let it go. The Japanese call this jiesa, isagyosa. The beauty of a clean cut. No second guessing, no rumination. You decided, you acted, you released. Week 4 is about value alignment. Choose one item from column 3. The place where your actions betray your values. Now ask yourself, is this actually your value? Or is it a value you inherited? Sometimes the misalignment is not that you are failing to live your values. Sometimes it is that you are trying to live values that were never truly yours. The Japanese concept of benyin to jianxian, your han to teteme, speaks to this. Hane is your true feeling. Teteme is your public facade. The gap between them creates unbearable heaviness. If the value is truly yours, create one micro ritual that aligns with it daily. If family is important, send one text every morning. If health matters, do 10 push-ups before coffee. The ritual does not have to be big, it has to be real. If the value is not truly yours, give yourself permission to release it. Write it on paper. Burn it. The Japanese ritual of gongyang kuyo is about honoring something before releasing it. Here is what happens when you complete this process. A study from the University of Pennsylvania School of Medicine in 2021 examined participants who engaged in what researchers called completion-based stress reduction. After 4 weeks of systematically closing open loops, participants showed a 38% decrease in cortisol levels and a 52% increase in self-reported measures of readiness to act. But the transformation goes deeper than stress reduction. Participants described a shift in identity. They stopped seeing themselves as people who struggled to take action. They started seeing themselves as people who naturally moved when movement was required. This is the shift from kiga omoi to what the Japanese call chi ga koni, ki ga karui. The spirit is light. When your spirit is light, action stops feeling like a battle. You do not need motivation to do what needs doing. You do not need discipline to show up. You simply move, effortlessly, inevitably, like water flowing downhill. This is what the ancient Japanese meant when they said, before the sword moves, the spirit must move first. This is not about productivity. This is about removing the invisible weights that make your life feel harder than it needs to be. The productivity culture tells you to do more. The Japanese wisdom tells you to carry less. One of these paths leads to burnout. The other leads to flow. Most people never complete this process because they are waiting to feel motivated first. They think motivation creates movement. The Japanese understood the opposite is true. Movement creates motivation, but movement is only possible when the weight is removed, when ki is light. The ancient Japanese had another concept, wushin, mushin, no mind, not thoughtlessness, but freedom from mental interference. When your backpack is empty, when your open loops are closed, when your values align with your actions, mushin becomes possible. Your body knows what to do, your mind gets out of the way, and you move. This is what the samurai trained for, not the ability to strike faster than their opponent, the ability to strike without thinking, to move without negotiating, to act without the 1,000 tiny hesitations that make action feel impossible. They trained their kai, not their muscles. You might be thinking, this sounds impossible. Your list is too long. Your backpack is too heavy. You have been carrying these rocks for years. How could you possibly remove them all? You are right. You cannot remove them all. Not at once, not this month, maybe not this year. But you can remove one. Today, right now, one conversation, one decision, one misalignment, one rock. The Japanese say, "Senri no teni mo ichibu kara, senri no michi mo ippo kara." A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step, but they also say something else. Ippo ga kenri o kaeru, ippo ga senri o kaeru. A single step changes the 1,000 miles. Because the moment you remove one rock, the entire weight distribution shifts. What felt impossible yesterday feels possible today. Not because you got stronger, because your load got lighter. You do not need to feel motivated to start. You need to feel lighter to move, and you make yourself lighter by completing what is incomplete, deciding what is undecided, aligning what is misaligned. This is seisen. This is the practice. The ancient Japanese understood something that modern culture has forgotten. Strength is not about how much weight you can carry. It is about how little weight you need to carry to move freely through the world. The strongest warrior is not the one who can fight with a heavy sword. It is the one whose sword feels weightless because his spirit is light. You know what you need to do. The question is not why you are not moving. The question is, what weight are you carrying that makes movement feel impossible? Find the weight, name the weight, remove the weight. Then watch what happens when your spirit becomes light. If this resonated with you, consider subscribing. Not for me, for you. Because this channel is built on one principle, ancient wisdom applied to modern pain. And there is more where this came from. Kiga Omoi. The spirit is heavy, but it does not have to stay that way. One rock, one conversation, one decision, one alignment. This is how you become light again. This is how you move. Not tomorrow. Not when you feel ready. Not when the conditions are perfect. Now, one step, then another, then another.